What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Truth on the Rocks.
Woo! Hello.
Well, thanks so much for joining us tonight. Please remember to like, share, and follow all our social media pages at Truth on the Rocks. And you know what? Since it is Easter Sunday, I have to pay a little homage to my grandfather and all my family down south. I had to break out the straw hat for Easter.
Oh, yes, sir.
And bring out the suspenders.
Yes, sir.
I wore these things.
Okay. Do they fit?
Can I even fit them? Oh my goodness, I need to loosen these things up. I got the fit right. Do I get the
yes.
Fit right? Okay.
Come on now.
All right, Gerald, now who's the prop king?
Ooh.
Anyway, my name is Maurice Griffin.
And I am Renata Del Carmen.
I'm Nnemdia Anderson.
And I am Joe Frank, the Black psychologist. Maurice, I'm very impressed. I must say, I'm very impressed with the props today. So listen, guys, you know there can be no truth with no rocks. You feel me? So what are you guys having on the rocks tonight? What's going on? I'll start. I'm having, this is one of my favorites. It's Bailey's, it's Irish cream. So I'm just having it on the rocks. One of my favorite drinks for sure.
I love it. I'm only having seltzer. And I say only because I'm actually lying. I threw a drop of vodka in there just now, some Tito's, just to spice it up for the show. What would I be with truth with no rocks?
I know, because earlier you said it was just seltzer water, and that
it was. This is empty. It was, but now we mixed it up. What's the problem?
Well, I think you must. Well, clearly you have Tito's on deck. So
I have Tito's and titties on deck.
Oh, let's go. Well, moving right along, I guess. Having some tonic.
I love it.
You let Nnemdia be Nnemdia. You gotta ignore Nnemdia.
Exactly.
That's what you got to do. Well, I'm having some gin and tonic, and this gin is flown in from Brazil.
Oh, please. From the Bronx, you mean? Flown in from the Bronx.
No, not from the Bronx. No, it is. It's not mine. I got it from somebody else. I mean, Rondo. Okay. You know, whatever.
We believe you.
All right. Well, listen. I'm ecstatic. Like this is great because I've been celebrating since last night, right? Because today is the beginning of Easter spring break for me. So I've been celebrating. I ain't got no school next week. I ain't got nothing going on. I'm just chilling this week. Listen, I'm going to be having fun, watching TV, catching up on my shows. What you guys been up to? What are you guys plans? What's happening with you guys this spring break?
But like I mentioned before, I'm not really affected by spring break. I'm like always on spring break because my youngest is 14. So, and she ain't even here. First thing she did was like, bye, Mom, I'm leaving. So, bye. That's how I feel about it. Spring break all the time.
Right. And Renata, you just got off spring break, right?
Sadly, I'm slowly creeping toward the end of my spring break, trying to hold on to every minute, every hour that the Lord has given me. I do miss the children, though. I don't miss the fights. I don't miss the drama, but I miss the children.
Well, speaking of children, I just finished my first full week of being a substitute teacher, and I'm not children.
Oh, look at that.
And I'm not
Mr. Maurice.
Yo, first of all, I mean, it was just, I was with majority of the week, I was with first and second graders. I didn't know that first graders told on each other so much. I didn't know it was so touchy. I ended up breaking up 2 fights in 48 hours. I see kids fighting, and I'm in the middle of the fight, and I had no idea I would ever be that kind of person, because when I see people fight, I just want to stand back and watch and see what's good. When I see 2 kids, and I'm like, oh, I'm responsible for them, so let me just go and break this fight up. And, you know, it was just a disaster. But I will say this, I can see why teaching can be rewarding to so many people. And it was something that I would have done. It would have been something I would have probably had to consider maybe like 10 years ago. But God bless the educators.
God bless y'all. Like, no lie.
The educators.
We appreciate you.
It's never
what
too
can
late.
we do to make your life easier? What can we do to make our lives easier, for real?
Well, we can start with a raise of pay.
Okay. I'll talk to Obama about it.
Coins. We would greatly appreciate that. And of course, your undying support as a parent. Thank you so much.
Good. All right. Y'all heard it here on Truth on the Rocks. All right. So we know what our spring break is looking like. Let's get to these iced tea topics, Doyle. All right. So I heard, because I don't have Twitter, that Tashina Arnold had tweeted about asking, what can we as Black women in America do to stop aiding in the emasculation of Black men in America? I didn't realize I took part in that, but since she's calling us out,
Yeah.
Right.
since she's calling us out, we kind of addressed it a little bit when we had our pre-production meeting. And I think it's not even something that I actually really thought about. I never really even gave it thought, which is scary in a sense. So what it did for me was cause me to sort of like start self-reflecting. Am I emasculating? And Renata had brought up something like it starts in the home with the emasculation of Black men. And I'm like, wow. So I immediately went to my sons and I'm like, well, how am I handling conversations with my sons? How am I handling when I need them to do something? Am I aggressive in nature? Am I demeaning at all? And I wouldn't necessarily say consistently, but there are times that, with boys, when you're raising like teenage boys, they become more aggressive in nature. And then as a mother, like a Black mother, you feel like automatically you got to check them on their shit, right? And so there has been times where I may have been a little emasculating just because it's like matching energy. But as I was thinking about it further, it was like, how would I want, if my boys had to choose a woman, I'm their first line of communication when it comes to a woman. What am I actually teaching them? And would I be okay if his woman addressed him this way? That really gave me the perspective that I needed to start paying attention from that question on and how I am communicating with my boys. What do you feel about it, Renata? I know that you have a daughter, but still, we're women.
I think one that self-reflection that you have done is amazing, because there are not a lot of people who would even go inward with that and like their actions and how they're projecting in their household when it comes to this topic. In my experience, when something like this is discussed, especially if it's coming from a man, it's like immediately attacked. Like everybody wants to talk about like what's wrong with that statement. So I'm actually glad that it came from Tashina, which allows for a different conversation to happen. But I think even if how you per se or any other mother raising a Black son would be addressing their child as a disciplinarian, some of that, the ways in which you speak to them is to be expected because you are the authority in the home, you're the disciplinarian. I think what is missing in a lot of homes is how a Black woman interacts with a Black man that is the father or the husband of that child, right? So the young man that's being raised by this Black mother learns how to be treated by a woman by how that woman treats her husband or her significant other. And that's where they learn how they should communicate with a love interest. So I don't know what context in which Tashina is bringing this question, but I think we should look at it more of like, what are the examples of love and relationship in a home that teach Black men like how they should be treated by their love interest and how they should be treated by the world, period. Because like, is it just Black women that's responsible for like supporting them through this, or is it the way the world treats the Black men that emasculates them? I don't know. A lot of things that happen and are brought to the forefront in media, social media, that continue to perpetuate this issue of de-emasculating them or emasculating them.
I agree. And Gerald, I mean, being the Black psychologist, how do you feel what the impact is of emasculating a Black man? Do you feel like it's actually something that's happening? Do you experience it at all? And have you experienced it? I mean, I know those are a lot of questions, but.
Right. So when I read the tweet, right, I immediately went into the comments and I began to read what people were saying about the tweet itself. And a lot of women were angry with the statement. And my thing with it was, I don't think that Tanisha Arnold was really blaming Black women. And when you read the tweet, the thing that I pulled out of it was the part that she said, "Stop aiding in," right? So it's like the question was, how are Black women aiding in, right, or being or performing behaviors that aid in the emasculation of Black men? So it was a moment for and Renata and Nnemdia, you guys started doing this self-reflection, and that's what I got from it. Like, Black men, right, should start to reflect and ask themselves, well, how have I helped in the emasculation of Black men? How have I aided in this? And what can I do moving forward to ensure that Black men feel, right, feel powerful and feel empowered, right, in that way. Now, so with that comes the self-work, right, that Black men must put in, and it's therapy and mental health is just something that Black people as a whole don't necessarily tap into, right? And Black men, the journey of a Black man, the journey of Black people, right, is filled with pressure. We're fighting against a lot of things. I know that Nnemdia mentioned boys becoming aggressive, having to be aggressive at some particular point in time in their lives. And that's because we're living in a system, right? We're fighting against a system that was built for Black men to always be in the position of fighting to be better, fighting to be enough, fighting to be worthy, fighting to be a lot of different things, whether physically, intellectually, socially, in all different aspects of our development. So there's a lot of pressure. So now Black men do feel emasculated sometimes regarding in some areas of their lives, right? So the question is, how am I supporting that as a Black woman?
Moses, what are you thinking? You seem like you're so deep in Moses, right? Classes in session. Okay.
No, I'm just listening to Gerald to see if his facts are lining up, because I know he spew a lot of garbage on this show.
Oh, shit! You can't do that.
I am the Black psychologist for
That's reason. Right. You know what it is.
Show me the degree. No. I mean, I agree with a lot of things that was said so far, honestly, but I, like Nnemdia, when I read this question, I did some self-reflecting, right? I thought it was very interesting. I actually thought Tashina did take on a responsibility of emasculating men, and she also included Black women in that. Not that she represents all Black women, but that's because Black women are a part of the community of Black men. So I guess that's why she roped Black women into this. Then I asked myself, do I believe I've ever been emasculated by a female? And the answer for me probably was no, unless I was in grade school being teased. I actually from time to time find myself thinking whether or not I'm misogynistic, through like certain encounters I have with certain women in public, like when people with certain women say things to me and I respond to them. Like I was like, ooh, would I have done that if that was a man? So a lot of times I ask myself whether or not I'm misogynistic. So if I do, I'm not aware of it. If I encounter any sort of emasculation. So that was one of the things that I kind of came up with. But another angle that I thought about this topic was, okay, so if this is true, if women do aid in emasculating men, when did that start, right? So the first thing that came to me was it had to be probably in the 1960s, 70s during the feminist movement, when women were fighting for equal rights, when women were trying to get equal opportunities, and they were trying to fight for personal freedoms. So when you're fighting for when women, I'm not a female, so I'm imagining them fighting for freedom. They're fighting for it in the home against their husbands, and now you're going against the institution of patriarchy and dominating and telling women what to do, and women are considered to be property, and women are trying to change that. So if women are fighting against that in large numbers, I'm assuming that's kind of when it started. And was it necessary? You know, that's a good question. Like, in order, sometimes you gotta fight for your freedom. You know, now I'm not saying emasculating your brother and your father and your sister is the way to do it, but when at large did men started feeling emasculated? Was it when women were trying to fight for equal rights? So that was just kind of like the take I took on the conversation.
That is a great point, because I think Black women have acquired this role that I don't know that we really even asked for or wanted, where we have to stand up and fight for everyone's rights, not just women's rights, but our children's rights, our husband's rights, our lovers' rights, our every Black person in America's rights. Like, I feel like we have to fight for so much, and now it's like either I don't know if there has been a healthy balance that's been achieved in this, where we can be submissive to the likings of what men deem submissive is today, because I don't even know what submissive means in society anymore. I know what it means biblically, but I don't know. Society is ever evolving and changing, and what was considered submissive in 1960 is not submissive today, is not the same thing. And so as we continue to evolve as a culture, we have to constantly be figuring out what it even means to not emasculate a man. So, yeah.
Right. And I think it's based on the man that you are with, because what one man may feel is emasculation, another man may not. And speaking of men who may have with emasculation, Cam Newton, he actually did an interview this week where he was addressing, I feel, minimizing. He expressed his thoughts that women don't know how to cater to their men. And by stating some things may not be verbatim, but a woman to him is handling your own and knowing how to cater to a man's needs. And then he proceeded to say, we don't know how to be quiet, right? We don't know how to let a man lead. So just hearing this statement and even relating it back to the emasculation, I hate to be the one to do the back and forth, right? Well, you did this and I did that, right? Because there's no growth there. So I'm clear that a requirement for self-reflection so that we don't aid in emasculation. However, I have a big problem with men not wanting to be treated a certain way, yet and I'm saying Black women because I don't know what it is to be any other type of woman. They don't value us. So it doesn't even matter. We could be submissive and we can be humble and we can cook and we can clean and we can let them lead and we can do all of the things. But it doesn't guarantee us that they are going to value us and really understand how much we bring to the table that's not financial, and how much we actually are part of the foundation that helps them maintain who they are when we are a collective. And I just feel like his opinion was what a woman is, and that's his opinion. He can have that, but you don't have to sort of disrespect the woman who's not ideal to you to sort of make your point. And that's where I have a problem. What is it called when you minimize the value of a woman that you are with? You know?
That I Woo, baby. So,
Yeah.
I just say, like, I'm so frustrated with men who continue to use women as an opportunity to go viral on the internet. I'm just gonna. It seems like talking about women is the way to go. But and I'm not saying Kim did this podcast. It's like podcasters, like, let's talk about women, Black women, let's do all of that. It'll get us where we want to be. So with that being said, I had the opportunity to like listen to some more of the interview, and I think the context in which, they take bits and pieces of things and post it on the internet and never really give the full context. So Cam was referring to the difference between like a homely woman and a woman you would make a wife versus like what society considers a bad bitch, or women who profess themselves to be bad bitches. And the difference is the woman that is investing in her body, maybe doing like surgeries and just wants to be out catching ballers and like rich, wealthy men, versus the woman that's like going to school, got her degrees, and like starting a family with the love of her life and taking care of her kids at home and not really being so concerned with keeping up with the Joneses, but more so with maintaining her household. So if we had to describe it, maybe a Proverbs 31 woman. And so I think the issue I had with what he was saying was like, you either are a Proverbs 31 woman and not desirable in the way that bad bitches are, or you a bad bitch and you can't cook, right? Like,
Right.
I don't feel like
it's that extreme.
Right. I don't feel like they can't coexist. I feel like there are women who are fine, who take care of themselves, who can be the woman that is necessary in the household to maintain the household and take care of her husband. Exactly. Hello, now. How are you?
Hello.
Clearly, Cam has not met you.
He has not.
Yeah.
Because I run this for you.
And that's the thing. Like, these women he's referring to, are like, what kind of women are you coming across? Or like, ballers have so many women that throw themselves at them and like fit these different descriptions. But I feel like when someone of his caliber gets on the internet and speaks on this, like, the perspective he's speaking from is not realistic. Like, there are everyday women that are fly and dress well and bodies are banging and like could cook you a meal. Like, they arms don't gotta be jiggling for this to be good. Like,
well, listen, I mean, let's be honest though, right? Let's be honest, right? A lot of the women that talk about being bad bitches, right, and this and that, a lot of them really don't know how to do these things, like cook and different things like that. You know, I've met a few, so it's nothing in its extreme. But I met a few. Listen, I met a few. No, as a psychologist, I interact with all different types of people. So I've met a few, right? Who?
Okay, so now
we're just making sure.
Right. Of course, absolutely. Right. But again, Renata said it, right? When I listened to a little bit more of the interview, he was making a comparison between the women who speak about themselves as being bad and they do this and they're bosses and different things like that. And he was saying that most of those women don't do these things like cook and cater to their men and different things like that. I also agree that you can be both. You can be someone who caters to your man and cook and different things like that, and you can be a bad bitch. Like, you can be both. And I think real men in my world appreciate both, right? We appreciate the women who can be dual, just as how a woman will appreciate a man who can be both masculine, so to speak, and also in touch with their emotions, right? So it's an and both type of situation for me.
Right. I love it. But what do you have to say, Moses? Because you're
No, I'm just thinking, well, what do I have to add to this conversation since I don't date women?
You date bad bros?
No, I don't date anybody. I'm dating myself.
You single, okay? You saved and you single during this Easter. Okay.
On this Easter Sunday.
Would you prefer someone who like is more domestic, right, rather than someone who is, out there and like, I don't know.
Well, if you're asking if I want to marry a hoe, the answer is no. I'm not one. I don't want one. So I don't want somebody who got an OnlyFans page or who got all these people in their DMs. And no, I don't want that. But
wow, that makes somebody a hoe, having an OnlyFans page and people in their DMs. Let's gather your definition.
I'm sorry, did you say Gerald?
No, I wanted to know if Nim had an OnlyFans page. I'm not sure.
Oh, I don't. But if I chose to do so, I mean, it would just be I have an OnlyFans page. I mean, that doesn't make anybody a hoe.
Well, what I said, I don't want someone to hoe. I'm not calling you have OnlyFans page hoes.
Well, you said it.
I said I don't want one. I don't want a hoe, and I don't want somebody who has an OnlyFans page. I'm not saying they're the same. I just want them. I don't want my man's dick and ass.
Okay.
I just something that should just be reserved for me. But back to this conversation here, I'm wondering, can you have it all? Can you still honestly really can? I mean, yes, you can be a bad bitch and cook in the kitchen, but are there more bad bitches who cook, or just more bad bitches, and then you just have those who can cook? Like, can you have it all? That's kind of like the question that comes up when, just hearing you guys discuss this and hearing the comments from Cam Newton. I actually thank you for that reference. I didn't hear the whole interview. I only heard the excerpt. But can you have it all? Like, a lot of us and is it a fantasy? Because when you sometimes have the woman at home who's cooking, who's taking care of the kids, who's holding you down, whose name is on the life insurance policy, and then you going out to the bad bitch that you see on IG. The bad bitch.
Talk about it.
But talk about it. Part of the fantasy.
Talk about it.
But and then you sleep with the bad bitch, but you're never gonna leave your wife for the bad bitch. Well, most people, some men don't leave
some people
their wife for the bad bitch because you know what you got at home. And then and then also it plays a part. I think plays a part in just how old and mature you are, right? So because. And maybe the older you are, the more you appreciate what you have, and you learn because you've experienced or lived through experiences. So I don't know. I'm just talking. Somebody take over.
To wrap it up, I feel like Cam. My overall thought is, I feel like Cam expressed what he expressed, but he phrased it in a way where he did not take responsibility for the women that he was choosing. Because these women wouldn't be his problem if he was his picker.
What is his status? Is he married, divorced?
He's single. He's single.
But he was married. He has a lot of kids.
Yeah, I think either, yes, because there was some turmoil in their relationship. So it's either they're patching things up, but he.
Oh, okay. I thought it was over.
And he had separated, and he.
Okay, so this makes sense. So this comes from his own home, what he's talking about, because who else has he experienced over a long course of time to know what a woman is going to be as a housewife or a bad bitch? Now I'm going to go Google his wife and see what she looked like over there. To me, it sounded personal. It sounded like a personal experience. He was so passionate about it. You can't have me a bad bitch. Have me not. I'm about to go Google her and find out, because I was like, wow, you're really upset about this. Who hurt you, Kim? I was like, who didn't let you speak? That's what I was saying when it was happening. He's entitled to his preference, but he does not have to demean another woman or a woman who is less than his ideal woman to make his point. We got it, okay? That's how it is with Black men dating white women. We've accepted it. We're not your type, but you don't have to put us down.
Do you really accept it though?
Oh, well, I don't have a problem with it. Just why do you don't need to put us down.
Right.
Don't need to put us down. We shouldn't even be a part of your conversation. Leave us alone. We're minding our Black business.
Right.
That's how I feel.
And the funny thing is, I never see Black men so more insecure than when they discuss a Black woman dating a white man. But we're gonna stick with the while Nem Googles Cam Lewis's wife. We're gonna talk about Black men who date white women, particularly Christian Obumseli. Is that how you pronounce his last name, Obumseli?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
We gonna call him today.
I mean, it's really sad what has happened to him. He unfortunately lost his life by the hands of his girlfriend. So condolences to his loved ones for what they are experiencing in this moment. But his death has unfortunately caused much more controversy than expected. Obviously, for him to have been stabbed to death, which is what happened with his girlfriend. And it is unclear whether they were in the midst of an argument. Neighbors say that there has been times where they have had very public disagreements, and who knows what all that entails. But this time it led to his untimely death, and his girlfriend happens to be white, and she happens to be very popular. She's an influencer on social media. And so quickly this story drew a lot of attention because of that, because he is a Black man dating a white woman and she stabbed him to death. There are photos of her bloodied being arrested. But that happened on April 3rd. I don't know that she's been charged. Obviously, she hasn't been charged because she is out in the streets at the bar. She had to leave because people were outraged that she was even out hanging out, drinking. But his girlfriend's story, her name is Courtney. Her social media name is Courtney Taylor. Says it was a lapse of mental judgment, that what happened between them was because of her mental state at the time. And so it is understood that that is why she has not yet been charged. But there are no stories of it being self-defense. And so people are outraged that she has not, his family especially, obviously, outraged that she has not been charged for his death. But the community, the Black community, Black women in particular, are minding their business in this moment because as the internet has been really good at digging up information on people, and they uncovered some tweets of Christians that speak not so well of Black women. Some of the tweets included like speaking about women on his college campus at a time, because they went way back. So when he was in college, he's not that old, he's like around 25 or so.
25, right.
Yeah, so he speaks about Black women being loud and ignorant and just like women he would never date and things of that nature. So Black women don't really feel led to support any initiative in bringing justice to this situation because he's not fans of how loud and boisterous we are. And it seems like that's what we would need to be in order for justice to be served in this situation.
Right.
Gerald.
Of everything you hate about us.
Oh Lord.
It's hard to defend this one.
This one is tough. This one is very tough because firstly, I'm thinking about the justice aspect of it. Right? There's a due process, right? There's procedures that needs to happen. right? In this particular case, justice has to be served. That's above all, right? Justice has to be served. And based on some of the details of the case that you stated, Renata, it seems like justice is not being served, right? Or at least there's some lapses in the authorities' ability to provide due diligence to this case, right? So my question is, should that be the thing we should be outraged about? Like, I'm wondering if we should rally about that. But then there is the whole situation where he said some things in the past about Black women that were, that were distasteful, right? And Black women who, are absolutely the muscle behind these rallies and these cries of outrage, right? And I can say that it's not the men, the women are the muscle behind it. If you all are not behind this, nothing is going to get done 100%. So I'm very torn. I can't even lie. Like I'm very torn because I'm thinking of the justice piece, and justice should be served because we cannot let another white woman walk away. We cannot. She has to serve her time. So if we don't rally behind this, are we letting someone walk who's not supposed to walk? But at the same time, there is the piece of the things that he said to our women. So I don't know. I really.
Gerald, that's a great point, because there is that issue of justice. It is a big problem. And I believe that people would have been rallying behind this situation had they not uncovered these tweets. I think, and a sad but true, that is the case, because there were no bruises or marks found on her person to constitute that this was any form of self-defense or like that she had been harmed in any way. And so the family is stating that this is clearly an unprovoked act of violence, and the authorities, they believe, are treating her differently because she is a wealthy white woman. And this is in Florida, in case anyone cares. This is Miami. We know how Florida does.
Even worse.
My question is, the internet is undefeated. Who found the tweets? Who took the time found the tweets? The internet is undefeated. I would have never thought
to go look for the
go
tweet.
through this man's tweets. I would have read, honestly, what I did initially, as I was scrolling through, saw the story, read the headlines. Damn, that's fucked up. I probably wouldn't have never took the time to Google this man, to look up his tweets. Who found the tweets? With that being said, and with that being said, I think, I'm on the same lines with Gerald. It's like, having, Bill Cosby, right? You have to be able to separate the artist from their work, right? So there has to be some sort of separation. Like, yes, he said what he said, but at the same time, if he was wrongfully killed by anyone, whether it's white, black, male, or female, justice needs to be served. And Angela Rye, she's like a political commentator on CNN, MSNBC, and so forth. She just said, in other words, I'm paraphrasing, forget what the tweet said, justice needs to be served. But the thing is, it's just so hurtful to hear something like that. I'm just as hurt to hear something like that as I heard to hear Kanye West talking about slavery was a choice. Like, it's just hurtful to hear stuff like that. Like, and I agree with Nnemdia, like, you don't have to.
You will not let Kanye leave that.
No, and another reason I'm not letting Kanye down is because he pulled out of Coachella, and I know somebody who was trying to sell a ticket and couldn't sell it because he pulled out. So I gotta be mad at him.
How did we end up with Kanye? Because he married another.
No, I love Kanye. I do love Kanye. I really, really do. But no, it's just, and another point that came to mind is a lot of reasons I feel like Black women are the people fighting, are the backbone of demographic fighting for justice, is because they are unfortunately, at the bottom of the barrel in our social structure. So when Black women win, everybody else wins. Unfortunately, we're fighting because if we get justice, then that means everybody else gets justice. And it's just Black women just have this energy about them that is just undescribable and untouchable from anyone else. But it hurts to hear that Christian tweet and stuff like that. You could, like Nnemdia said, you can have your preference, but you don't have to belittle anyone else because of your preference.
To the magnitude in which he did, and his death, as sad and heartbreaking as it is completely ironic. It's just ironic. And let me tell you, who needs to go fight for him? Cam Newton. Y'all want quiet Black women. Go on and team up and go fight the good fight, because she would have been in jail already if those tweets weren't found. The Black woman would have went nuts, because we all would have immediately thought about our Black sons. Oh, you gonna go and get a white girl, and this girl gonna do this to me? It would have been a big, huge problem. So we would have went to war immediately. But then we were equipped.
Another point that comes to mind is, okay, so let's say there was domestic violence going on, right? So, like,
in what sense? With her and beating him up, or the other way around?
Was he beating her up? And was this her only chance to get out? Because I know family members who've gone through domestic violence, so it's just kind of like icky.
I'm gonna speak to that as an experienced person in that area. When I called the cops, because I felt attacked, but I was defending myself, they were like, both of y'all are going to jail. So I didn't there was no option for me to say, well, he was coming at me, so it shouldn't be a difference if that was the case. And if that was the case, of course that changes things. But no, I don't ever remember hearing that being said at all, that she was defending herself. They said she had a mental psychotic break, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. They said that she had a psychotic break.
Renata, you're doing it, but you're muted.
Sorry. According to law enforcement, Taylor claims she stabbed Obsumseli, Lord, this name, after he attacked her, pushing her to the floor and grabbing her neck. This is from law enforcement. So,
first of all, he's a big dude. I can't really see you stabbing him as many times if he was in defensive mode and already being an offender.
Or awake. You stabbed him
and awake.
That's what I'm thinking. Like this.
Yeah, and you could be stupid and figure that out. Like, it's too, that part, the justice part, when you start assessing the information, it seems like, come on, y'all are really gonna allow this to happen, because we know damn well we would not get away with it under any circumstance. We would be under the jail until they figured out that we were innocent, and they would still lock us up. Okay, there would still be a trial. We'd still be in jail. There'd still be a trial. So we definitely know this is a race thing, and I think that if we want to involve ourselves, then yes, we can involve ourselves on that level. However, I think we would have been much more comfortable defending someone who literally didn't, in theory, stab us up and cut us down to size in front of the whole world first. You know what I mean? It's a tough situation. It's a tough situation.
Can't let another white woman walk. Come on. Like, this is bigger than the tweets now.
This is bigger than the tweets? It's bigger than the tweets?
Bigger than
walk.
Nah.
Walk.
Those tweets were powerful.
So where are the Black men?
Right. Because y'all waiting on us, the big mouth women?
The ones that don't know how to cook?
That's a good question. And that's why I stated that the Black women are the muscle behind these rallies and these cries of outrage. And we appreciate you guys for the work that you've done in rallying behind Black men and women as well in these particular situations. And yes, you guys need to learn how to cook.
We don't feel appreciated. It's R&B shit right now. We don't feel appreciated.
This a whole nother story for a whole nother show, but it's not going to be Black Lives Matter either, because they under fire for purchasing a $6 million mansion, so they all quiet right now.
We're gonna deal with that. The rally.
Typical of our people, boy.
Oh, I've seen that. And that investigation has been going on for some time.
For a minute. But all right, guys. So unfortunately, this happened to this young man. With no shade at all, we hope for the best. Let's get into the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Help me God.
Oh my God. So it's time for the whole truth, nothing but the truth. Help me God. And I will ask the panel a personal question. Everyone must answer and keep it real with the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God. Now, this is interesting. I actually was inspired by this, but so I'm going to start with Maurice.
Oh Lord!
I'm just going to start with Maurice.
Before you ask me the question, I think I'm drunk.
Which is just the way I like you, honey.
This Brazilian gin has gotten to me.
That damn Bronx shit. If you don't stop Brazilian gin, Bronx shit. All right, so Moses. This is a good question for you. Would you perform cunnilingus on a woman in front of your mom to save her life?
Would I perform what?
Cunnilingus on a woman in front of your mom to save your mom's life.
Hell yeah!
You what?
You mean eat somebody out in front of my mother?
Yes.
To save my mother's life?
Yes.
Yes.
So
I would throw up afterwards, but I would save my mother's life. I thought this question was specifically for me.
It was specifically for you. 100%.
She probably got a different question for everybody. You gotta watch them, dear.
Wait,
personalized questions. Wow. This just keeps getting better and better. What's my personalized question? What's Ren's personalized question?
Well, it's gonna apply to everyone. So Ren, are you willing to perform fellatio?
Oh, better question for Nnemdia. I mean,
in front of your dad to save his life.
Wow. The Saints are gonna get me for this one. Ooh, they're gonna get me for this one.
But some of them have probably already done it, so don't worry about it.
Yeah. So, given that my father is deceased, my hope and sincere prayer is that he's with the Lord, and so he's living life after death, right? And so if I'm performing fellatio, it's in front of him.
Okay. It's in front of him anyway.
It's in front of him.
He's watching.
Oh my goodness. Oh my God. Okay. That was a good one. G. Hi, G.
Oh, that's easy. That's
easy. All right. So wait. Are you performing fellatio?
Oh, what? Wait. No, it's cunnilingus for me. No, wait, pause.
No, go ahead and be a personalize that. Oh. This is for your mother, that nice, sweet lady I met a couple of years ago.
See, cunnilingus. See.
Gerald, this is for that. This is for that. Your mother, that nice, sweet woman I met a few years ago.
Oh my God, I can't even finish. Oh my God, that hurts so bad. I knew that shit was gonna suck him, but it's cunnilingus. Out of respect, well, I'm saying cunnilingus. Are you willing to do that in front of your mom to save her?
Let's make it clear.
Joe ready to log off.
100%.
Cunnilingus.
100%. 100%.
Okay.
100%.
What do you think your mom would say about it when you
she'll be totally surprised because my mother is full Pentecostal, so she would be shocked and appalled. And she'll be even shocked to know how good I am. She'll be like,
Okay, so you took. You said your mother would be so surprised. I said your mother would be grateful that you did it because she's still alive.
Right.
Somewhere else about how well you would perform.
Would she be disappointed by how well?
Like,
she'd be like, "Take me down, Lord."
How long have you been doing this, Gerald?
Oh my goodness. So that was a quick and pretty easy one, but it was definitely something heavy because the actual question was a man asking a guy, like, would you give a man head to save your mother's life? I was trying to be, yeah. And dudes were like, yes. Like, throat goat 3,000 and guac or whatever that is, 3,000. I was like, wow. So I needed to bring it to the table.
This is your mother. A lot of people would do that. It's your mother's life. And especially if you could do it and get away with it.
My whole process is like, it's like Jesus being in the room for me. It's like, like that's how I would feel like, oh, do I really have to do this? Do I really have to do this? I feel so dirty. I feel so down. So I don't know. My mom might not make it.
So you don't have a definitive yes or no on whether or not you would do it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I do not know. I don't know.
You'd be like, Mom, this is why you've been saved for so long.
I've been like, go on and be with your homeboy. Go on and be with your homeboy.
Go walk on those streets of gold.
Or I'll be like, you know you owe me when it's all over. When it's all there. You owe me, sis. But anyway, that wraps up that point. Go on and Gerald. And
oh my God, this was great. And once again, that's why you need to tune in to Truth on the Rocks, because you never know. You never know what we're going to talk about. You never know what we're going to say. You never know what people are going to say. Listen, that's why you tune in. So thanks again for joining us for another segment of Truth on the Rocks. Remember to like, share, and follow our social media pages. And we'll be back for another episode on Sunday, May 1st at 8 p.m. So let us raise our glasses to yet another episode of Truth on the Rocks. And remember, when your truth gets too difficult, just have it on the rocks. And have it responsibly. Enjoy your spring break. Enjoy your break.
Yeah.
Maurice, get sober.